His boots crunched on the oil sands as the workmen hurried to the scene. Their facial expressions were strange and they sighed when they saw Funk there. Funk was surprised and wanted to know if it was all true. Are his eyes playing tricks on him? He never expected to find something like this out of the rocks. But he still doesn't know its identity. Miner Sean Funk thought it was just another day. Funk has years of experience as a construction worker and heavy equipment operator. He encountered many buried objects. Funk believes he has seen everything from worthless junk to precious treasures. Little did he know he was about to witness the most extraordinary of his entire career. The most shocking event. Funk heads to the Triad as he prepares for another day of prospecting at the Millennium Mine in Alberta, Canada. He cherishes his work as long as he can be outdoors with elements of nature. He was obsessed with natural anomalies and secretly hoped that one day he would stumble upon one. If only he'd known it was his lucky day. For hours Funk waved his shovel as usual. Its powerful cranes swallow huge boulders from the ground and lift them into the air, and everything works smoothly. With every spoonful Fink digs a giant depression in the ground filled with sand, oil and tar. It's like he went back in time. He fantasized about the excitement of making a real discovery. I recall a news story where a miner dug up an old egg under dirt and stone. Funk glanced at his puddle of wet sand and stone and chuckled. He believes there's nothing to be found but sand, oil and stones. He continues to dig and hears a loud bang as the spade hits the ground and swallows up another piece of ancient dirt. What did he hit? He removed the clod from the Trinity to examine the falling object. Something strange caught his eye and prompted him to store the pieces in the back of his truck. For further investigation, back at the scene he stared at the huge hole he had dug in the ground. What he saw made his heart beat faster. He hurried back to his truck and called for officers and reinforcements. He glanced around and saw that no one was near. In the distance he could see another excavator at work, but time was running out. He must act quickly. Noticing the gap getting wider, he grabbed a shovel and started digging. There was a rush of adrenaline, but it wasn't enough. He needs help. Funk didn't lose a second. He's in a race against time and against the soft earth because it's so easy to collapse. Bury his discovery with himself. Out of pure instinct his gut tells him to protect this. It's his only mission. He was standing behind the boulder, trying to do something when he heard a sound. Backup arrived with a large crane and pillars. They were going to lift this big rock into the air and dig a hole under it and put boards to hold it in place. Fink helped watch nervously as they prepared to take off. After he saw this, he invested a lot of money and couldn't take his eyes off this incredible discovery. Fink felt himself relaxed as the team of construction workers successfully lifted the boulder from the broken ground. But it's not over yet. Just as the crane lowered the rock to the ground, a high-pitched sound filled the atmosphere. The rock splitting in half shows what Funk thought he saw. A team from the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology went to the scene. When they realized why they had been called, did Fink see their eyes widen in surprise? Fink explained everything. They'd spent hours carefully digging through the broken rock fragments to piece together something you'd have to see to believe. What is it? Incredibly, Fink found a real dinosaur fossilized from nose to hip. This means it was miraculously well preserved after its death billion years ago. It had not only teeth and bones but also remnants of skin and intestines. How about it's as rare as winning the lottery? Scientists speculate that the unfortunate dinosaur died and was swept into a river by a massive flood. It floats on gases that carry its belly far out to sea. The body broke up and sank to the bottom about a week later. Minerals seep into the skin and armor supporting its back and immortalizing its form. It's like tons of rock piled up on top of it. Researchers from museums and around the world worked tirelessly for 6 years to test the preservation and preparation of this dinosaur's remains while piecing together its incredible story. The scientists concluded that the dinosaur was a 4-legged herbivore covered in armor and spikes and had a long tail. This is a brand new species called Nodosaurs. In its fossil state, Notrosaurus weighed about 2,500 pounds, which has scientists wondering what it was like when it was alive. Have a reasonable understanding of your weight. Scientists estimate that the Arthrosaurus weighed about 3,000 pounds, suggesting that it was a relatively solitary creature about a million years ago. The miraculous preservation of the remains of Notrosaurus still puzzles scientists, especially given its long and turbulent journey to its final resting place. Experts are still trying to determine the exact process of this preservation. All they know for sure is that it must have happened quickly because the Notrosaurus was covered in oil, still intact after millions of years. Because of the Notosaur's special conditions, scientists use modern X-ray scanners to study this dinosaur's robust exoskeleton. They were able to examine the creature's bone structure and even the internal cavity of the stomach. This well-preserved find is truly amazing, especially for the man who found it. Now Nortron is on display at the Royal Tyrrell Museum so scientists can continue to study its remains. Learn more about the prehistoric age of dinosaurs. Miner Sean Funk makes a case for himself in one of the world's most important dinosaur discoveries. Scientists have yet to complete this discovery. In early 2019, scientists are still studying Arthrosaurus and its scans in hopes of learning more about the dinosaurs in general. This unprecedented discovery is groundbreaking. However, this is not the first time an ancient and immortal artifact has been found. Another remarkable find in someone's backyard is similar to the Notosaur discovery. The sound of police sirens echoed in the air as hundreds of people gathered at a farmer's yard near the river. A strange thing unfolded before their eyes which the farmer had accidentally discovered while walking in the flower garden. For a farmer named Jose, the day started like any other. Farmer Jose Antonio Neves, in the sun at his new home in Buenos Aires, decided to take his dog for a walk in the garden. He has yet to explore the vast tracts of land that accompany the farm, including riverbanks and streams. So he opened the back door and set off, unaware that he was about to make history. Jose was taking his dog for a walk along the banks of the river when he noticed something strange in the muddy water. Embedded in the bank of the river was a large black object that looked like a giant egg. What could it be? Curiosity overwhelmed him and prompted him to take a closer look. Approaching the object, Jose realized that it was completely covered in mud. He decided to dig it up and gradually reveal its true size. It's 3 feet across. It's too big to be an egg. So what might it be? Wiping the sweat from his forehead, Jose had been digging for 15分钟 use. Moving it away from the muddy banks was a challenge. 2 archaeologists began to clear the dirt and help remove objects from the embankment. It has a scaly structure with a green shimmer. As they continued to dig, they soon realized the enormous weight and size of this strange object. The group struggled for a few hours under the hot sun in the muddy, sticky water. Finally found this artifact. They carefully loaded it onto a transport truck to be taken back to the lab. Little did they know they were about to discover something extraordinary. In the laboratory, the archaeologists carried out extensive tests on the object, examined its shell structure carefully. It took a while, but they finally revealed the identity of this Titan object. Amazingly, it's neither an alien object nor an egg nor a stone, and they finally have an answer. The mysterious object turned out to be the armor of a glyptodon, a prehistoric animal. Scientists and researchers were surprised by this revolutionary discovery. Finally, an answer. However, it soon became clear that not everyone shared his enthusiasm. News of the discovery spread, and experts suspected an elaborate forgery. Many scientists admit that they cannot provide a meaningful and concrete explanation. They wanted to know how the shell was so well preserved and was found upright. However, this finding is not a hoax. According to the researchers, glyptodonts gathered in South America more than years ago. These mammals are similar in size and weight to Volkswagen Beetles. Jose, the farmer who first discovered the mussels, still has a few questions. Science professor Lister disagreed with claims of a hoax, saying the shell appears to be that of a genuine glyptodon. While the exact identity was a relief, Joses wondered why it was in his garden. How long did it stay there? Glyptodon evolved in South America and lived on the continent for millions of years. Their remains have also been found in Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. But there is an even more puzzling aspect that has puzzled scientists. The scientists examined the shell and found a separate hole for the head and another for the tail. They concluded that the hole did not appear to have been caused by combat, leaving only one plausible explanation: it could have been recent damage. A huge fossil found on a farm appeared to be huge, about 3 feet long. Paleontologists, however, believed the shell belonged to a young Glyptodon. Mature specimens of this species can grow up to 3 feet long. Even today, Jose can't believe the unexpected encounter while walking in his backyard. The insecurity and curiosity he felt after his first contact with the shell are deeply imprinted on his memory.
Thank you for watching. Please like and follow. Thank you.